Okay, this is the Coshocton County Budget Commission. Chris Sykes, auditor, Jason Gibbon, prosecutor, and Jeanette Doniker, treasurer, are members, and this is for Riverview School District's next fiscal year budget. Just to start off, I'll just ask you guys, it didn't look like a whole lot of difference in your projected budget, but did you have anything about the budget that you wanted to point out, or anything new on the budget that you wanted to mention before we go on? No?
Not really, not that I can think of. I mean, I really just kind of made it, the general fund kind of line up with our projections for the 5-year forecast in total. And then with the permanent improvement, I had detailed on the exhibit, I think it was 4 the projects that we have planned for the upcoming year. You know, we do have a window project that we're working on up at Warsaw. So we did phase 1 of that this year, this fiscal year, and then we will continue around the building. We did the, I believe it was it the western side, Dalton?
Yes.
We did? Okay. And then we will continue with the around the building based on what the architect is saying and is the next vital piece. We also needed to do some upgrading of our heating controls at in the high school building, and we would like to put in carbon monoxide sensors in the Warsaw Cleansville Junior High and high school building, and then possibly, if we have money left over, work on doing some repairs to the Cleansville parking lot. As far as and we do are scheduled for 22 to replace a couple buses, and we may need to replace the air compressor in the bus garage that has been there since the 1968.
Wow.
Replaced. So we're living on borrowed time. It's a compressor that lifts like the buses up in the air and stuff like that. So that is, like I say, it's lived its life, so we may have to replace that. Then we also have some computers and printers and servers and things like that that we've been looking at, or we have to replace some Chromebooks because they only have a 5-year license for those. So there's another series of those that would need to be replaced. And then we've had on our budget for numerous years a new phone system, but that keeps getting kicked back and kicked back and kicked back. So I don't know if that's something that we will actually get to this year, but we certainly are in need of it. I think we have even some of the county's old ones that they had that we're still using for parts for ours. So, but those are the main things, you know, and then I had kind of just estimated the taxes because we didn't have at the time when I put this together the new tax rates and stuff like that. So that was kind of my thought process. I didn't include the COVID money in the budget because it will be gone before 2022 unless new money gets put into the budget. So
okay. Did you have a lot of additional costs because of COVID?
A lot of the stuff was covered through the COVID grant that we got through the small and rural school district COVID money. We got a little over 130,000 there. And then we got the Ohio Broadband Grant as well to put in some hotspots, various places in the county. So we were able to purchase those and then pay for the service for those for a few months. But then we are going to have to pick up, once that money runs out, we have to pick up the remaining costs of that Verizon contract for the remaining months of the year. So we may have some money, and then obviously if there is no money coming forward, you know, we will have to buy additional masks and additional keep doing the, you know, the cleaners and the wipes and things like that, and there's hand sanitizers going forward. So we will probably have to pick up some of that cost in the near future.
How's your enrollment?
Kind of been going down from what I can see. The last numbers that I saw, it was down.
I just want to touch base a little bit on the AEP generating plant. I've already sent you a spreadsheet that shows that site decreased about $12.3 million between tax year 2019 and tax year 2020. Now that we have all the values in, we also found out that the overall county totals only decreased. I say only, I know it's still big, $6.5 million countywide. So instead of the 12.3 million, Riverview lost $9,358,340 assessed value, all told on your public utility personal property. So we did gain back a little bit of that 12 million loss with new projects or new equipment or what have you. Excuse me. The reappraisal is going on for tax year 2021. And one thing they're looking at is the buildings that are, the building value that is out there at that site. We currently have 13,306,300 on those buildings. And there's still going to be some value there, but they're trying to determine what that value is. Some of them will only be salvage value because they're probably slated for destruction. Some of them might be able to be functional and used for future projects, and they haven't determined that yet. So there's that 13 million might be changing out there at that site as well for the 2021 value. They first talked about taking it clear down to zero. And I told them we need to look at each of those structures and make sure, because I think there's still some value out there. There's office buildings and different things that might be able to be used for the new project. There's been no major construction that's going to remain taxable in your district. The biggest project was, let's see. Actually, I think that's the city school district. I was going to say your locker rooms. You guys didn't have any locker rooms. That was the city school district. So we don't have any major projects, new construction projects for tax year 2021 in Riverview that's going to make any difference on the books.
Was the new dollar value or family dollar, like up at Newcastle, did it make it on the value this time, or will it not make it on until 2021?
It probably won't make it on until, I'm not even sure it's going to make it on till past that because of the tax lien date. It wasn't on for 2020. I haven't been past there. Are they under roof and
they're open?
They're open now. Were they open as of January 1st?
I believe I'm not sure about that, whether it was January 1st, but it was right around that time frame that they opened.
So there might be a portion of that value on the books for tax year 2021.
Okay, what about the one in Conesville?
You know, did Jared or Dustin say anything about either of those sites?
Jared mentioned them, not really. He said there wasn't a lot of significant value with those since they're like metal pole building type structures. But is the one in Conesville wasn't open as of January 1st, I don't believe.
No, I think they're just doing their grand opening like now or it's coming up.
Okay.
So there may be a portion of that value on for 2021, but if they're going to be valued as a pole building, a commercial pole building, I'm not sure it's going to be anything that's going to be mind-blowing for you.
I didn't expect it to be, but I didn't know really whether it would be under like industry or if it would be under, commercial industry, or whether it would be under, it's not really residential,
No.
it's not agriculture, but I didn't really know where it would.
It's going to be classified as commercial.
Okay.
So it'll show up on that line or in that column. You had your permanent improvement levy pass for tax year 2020. You have a current expense levy, 4.8 mils, that's expiring in tax year 2020, pay 2021. If you're planning on placing that on the May ballot, do you know what your plans are?
We are not going to place it
In the fall. Okay.
in the fall because we were going to have to sustain the entire cost of that election because there's nothing county-wide on, only a few wards of the city are on for May. So when we looked at that, we just didn't think it was fiscally responsible maybe to do that.
Okay. I just was going to remind you of your 90-day prior to the May ballot date, but you've got that covered. You're going to take care of it in the fall. The change finder that we've been talking about the last few years, we ended up with a $1.4 million assessed value that we found with that software. We're starting to get ready to review the new flyover, which was done spring of 2020. Excuse me, but we're not expecting to see as great of a change this time because the appraisers were out in the field and they've been picking up a lot on their own. So hopefully they'll have all the new construction and unreported new construction already on the books. The appraisal itself, second field review is completed. They just finished Crawford Township for ag res. They're still working on the commercial review within municipalities. Preliminary sales ratio analysis indicates 10 to 13% increase countywide over the existing values. We have until June to get our tentative values sent into the state. So once we get those sent in and approved, we'll be able to tell you a little more accurately what it's going to look like. And again, that's the preliminary ratios. There's still more sales coming in and they are increasing. We're seeing ridiculous amount of deeds and prices that are being paid. So it might end up higher than that. I don't have anything else. You already got your valuation sheet from Jenny, right?
Right. I do have a question though.
Okay.
On this 4.8 mil levy, if by chance it would not pass, we would not have, we would be, I would think, significantly under the 20 mil floor if that did not pass. Now, my question is, would the values of the continuous levies that we have, would those values, the effective millage rate change on those if the 4.8 didn't exist or doesn't pass for some reason?
So you're already at the 20 mil floor, right?
Correct.
In both classes?
Not sure about both classes.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure your class B is at 20%. I mean, at 20 mil, but it's not going to go lower than 20 mils. So if the 4.8 does not pass, it will bounce up to 20 mil.
So would those values on those be increased? Would they go back up? Because like when I was looking at the sheet that Jenny gave me, it was saying like the 17 is down around like 10 point something, and the other is, I don't know, I don't have it in front of me. I was trying to pull it out. I had it out on Friday afternoon, and I don't have it in front of me. But like, for instance, this is the 19 year, I'll just draft it out. It was like at 10.733 for the res ag. So for the 17.4, what would constitute making those numbers shift ever or go back up? I understand my understanding or my thought was that as long as the class one, like the res ag, continue to go up in value, that effective millage rate probably wouldn't change that much, or you wouldn't do some type of an offset to those to make those collect more if this other went away. Do you understand what I'm saying?
So the way the 20 mil floor, the way the 20 mil floor works is that the state keeps your current expense, your general fund whole at 20 mils. So if you take away your 4.8 mils, which is collecting at 3.054 for ag res, that 3.054 will be allocated across the other two current expense levies. And I'm not sure how they do that at the state. They're the ones who increase it, but your grand total will not be lower than 20 mils.
Okay.
So
that's what I was wondering, if the effective millage rate of the other levies would be moved back up a little bit so that they would generate that revenue or not.
yes.
That's what we were wondering about that, how that would work if by chance that did not pass for some odd unforeseen reason, how that would work is what we were wondering.
And that's what would happen. Both of those would increase to some extent so that you were still collecting the 20 mil floor. I don't know how they allocate that between the two. It doesn't really matter. It all goes into the same fund. So they might just add it to one. The only thing they cannot do is they can't increase your effective rate collection higher than the maximum rate that was originally voted on. And you're not even close to that. So the 17
Right.
can't go up higher than 17.
Well, I just was curious as how that would work. So that,
we're not
I
here.
just was wondering about that.
Okay. Did that answer your question?
I think so, because I was just curious how that would work. We were just wondering if that would cause that to go, those rates to change or not.
It would.
Okay.
Oh, he does. He's so sexy.
Because that's been a concern of ours, like what if, since our PI levy didn't pass by large numbers, we were concerned that running that next one, you know, since the other one was fairly close, that we would have a problem. And we thought, well, what if it didn't pass? What would be the ramifications of that? What would happen to our numbers there?
Okay. I don't have anything else. Jason, Jeanette, do you have anything?
No, I don't.
Just that last year we had a 96% collection rate. Taxes this year are due for first half March 26th. We're quoting them right now, and we'll be sending manufactured home went out last week, and real estate goes out next week.
Okay. Okay. Dalton or Lee, do you have anything else for us?
I was going to ask what our tax, but now I know.
Now you know.
So now I know.
So, all right, Jenny and or Nicole will be getting you your Schedule A's and B's for this meeting. And if you don't have anything else, we're done and ready to start a new year.
Very good.
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.